back to THMOTO. I am TH. This is my YouTube channel where I ride motorcycles and talk about things. Today, I wasn't really planning on, good God, hello Ford Focus, mobbing through the parking lot like freaking, I don't even know what, Gymkhana type situation. I did not plan on recording a video today, but um, I might run out of gas, and that would be pretty hilarious. So I didn't want to miss that opportunity. Plus, I have something that I've actually been wanting to talk to y'all about, and that's going to come in just a little bit here. But first, I wanted to tell you that I am going to do my first giveaway on my channel. So obviously, I haven't even hit 50 subscribers yet, but I still want to do a giveaway. So I figured this would be a great way to grow the channel and to get some engagement from the community, because I very, very rarely get comments on my videos so far. And again, I have less than 50 subscribers. So in an effort to boost both of those things, I'm going to do my first channel giveaway, and I'm going to give you some more information about that in a little bit. But first, I want to start out with the main topic for today, and that is why I bought my Yamaha MT 07. So there's a lot of bikes out there. There's a lot of beginner bikes out there. There's a lot of beginner plus bikes out there. All these different things. And you know, there's even a valid argument to be made for starting out on a Hayabusa. You know, depending on whether or not you watch Yami is going to be whether or not you get that joke or not. But I do, and I think it's hysterical. And he actually found someone that did start on a Hayabusa. Watch his stuff. Yami's great. He's one of the big reasons that I actually decided to pull the trigger and get into motorcycling. But anyways, enough about him. Let's talk about me. So the first reason that I bought an MT-07 is because I am a beginner plus. So although I have never owned a motorcycle, and I have never ridden a motorcycle on the street for any length of time. I've ridden to buddies like around the block and stuff a couple of times, but I've never ridden one for any length of time of my own. I spent my entire childhood on two wheels. I just was everywhere on a bike, places I wasn't supposed to be, and places I was supposed to be as well, but doing lots of stuff, falling so much, learning so much about motorcycles, or sorry, about bicycles, and then spent some time on dirt bikes too. Not as much on dirt bikes as bicycles, and I understand they're very different, but they're all different, you know? You can spend your entire life on motorcycles and then crash on a street bike your first time on it, you know? It's not likely, but it happens. So yeah, I considered myself a beginner plus. There's a lot about this that I know that a lot of people don't. Like, I'm not a true beginner to where like I just didn't have any idea how what to do. I've driven stick almost my entire driving life. I've been driving for 24 years, and all but I want to say like 2 or 3 of those have been spent driving stick. So yeah, lots of experience with that, which I know can be hard for people as well, and can be kind of like a barrier to entry, at least a mental one for some people. So yeah, I consider myself a beginner plus, and this was the best like beginner plus bike that interested me. I mean, granted, it is. We're going to talk about price, I guess, a little bit later, but this is probably the most expensive beginner plus bike that you would want to buy, or like beginner bike that you'd want to buy. I mean, if you can buy used because you're scared about dropping it or wrecking it or something like that, that's great. Or if you can if you can buy new, I just wouldn't spend any more than this. This bike retails for 81.99, or 81.99, excuse me. And you could probably get a deal a little bit cheaper than that, but not much. I mean, you're going to be paying a lot of money if you buy a new bike, and this is at the high end of that. You know, Kawasaki Ninja 400 and R3s and all of that stuff is are going to be considerably less expensive, but they're also very different bikes. So that is going to come into another thing that I'm going to talk about. First, I probably need to concentrate while I get gas because I do it this way. I don't know about y'all, but I have it sticking out because it's very, very difficult, at least for me, to do it any other way. So I kind of just know when I'm as empty as I am right now how much gas goes in the bike, and it's really, really hard at night. But it's not quite dark enough to where it's going to become an issue for me, I don't think. It's going to take just over 2.5 gallons, and I was like empty, empty. I think I actually was in my reserves just shortly after leaving my house, which is kind of scary because I didn't notice. Um, there's two different dash views on the MT-07, and I'm on the one that's kind of harder to tell when you're running out of gas. I just got to get used to it. One of those other things I talked about in another video about how you got to get used to looking down and checking stuff out. Definitely not something that I'm used to just yet, but hey, 2.76. Yeah, that's the most gas I've ever put in this bike. I was almost out, man. That's kind of scary. But that's okay. We didn't get there. Um, so next we're going to talk about last element of beginner plus. It does have a a pretty forgiving throttle. So something that this bike is notorious for is it's got a little bit of like play. Like so you see, I mean it's not a lot right there, but then even beyond that, the bike doesn't really truly react to throttle inputs for just a little bit past that. It's a pretty commonly spoke about thing on this bike, um, to the point where people even replace the throttle tube with the R6 throttle tube because they just don't like how little response it has. So it's plus it's got so far. Like if you look at like my wrist is flat, you have to go like down farther than you'd want to. Like you have to come up here to come to a natural position to go wide open throttle with a R6 throttle tube that goes from like I want to say this it's not 90 degrees, it can't be, it's got to, if it is 90 then maybe like 91 92. The R6 is like 75 maybe 80, so considerably shorter throw to wide open throttle, but it also does change the complete feel of the bike. You have way more torque, and if you're not a beginner, or sorry, if you are a beginner, it's going to potentially put you in a dangerous situation to where you have a little bit too much input as far as that's concerned. All right, so as usual, I'm rambling. Let's move it. So speaking of changing the bike and making it a little bit more responsive, another reason that I chose this bike is because it's a bike I can grow into. Now, I know a lot of people don't like saying that because it leads to a dangerous mentality of like, oh, well, I could just get an R1 and grow into that instead. I'll just have it on low power mode and I'll be good and I'll just grow into my bike. No, that's completely different than what I'm doing with this. So I am on a beginner plus bike growing into a beginner plus bike. What do I mean by that? I don't know how to do wheelies. At this current moment, I don't have any desire to do wheelies. So if I ever decided to, I could grow into it that way. Once I get more comfortable with the throttle and the throttle response, and I don't feel like I'm going to kill myself if I accidentally put too much throttle input in, then I could go to like an R6 throttle tube. I could track this bike. You know, it's not that common, but you I have heard of MT-07s on the track before. And then just a couple other things, you know, like this. I've read a lot of people saying that they love their MT-07, and even when they grow out of it, they're not selling it. Like this is one quote unquote beginner bike that they're not going to split with. So I looked at that a lot and I was like, I people speak very highly of the bike, and I'm again gonna trust people smarter than me. And there's a lot of people, especially in regards to motorcycling on the internet, smarter than me. So the third reason is it's a lot of fun. I saw a lot of people having a ton of fun on this bike, and I do too. Now, granted, the fun to be had on this bike is mostly on surface streets. It's just not as fun on the freeway. It doesn't have that top end that other bikes are going to have, 600s and liter bikes, of course. But it allows me to have fun in a safer way, in a not 150 mile an hour way. I mean, you've all seen how I ride. Like I ride a little bit on the fast side. I'm riding a little bit slow right now because I want to make sure I fit all this in before I get home. But typically I'm on the faster side of things, and I kind of wonder what that might be like if I had a faster bike. Um, so yeah, this bike is definitely a lot of fun, very torquey. It's all usable power, you know? Like, yes, it's geared more for the low end. For example, if I redline it in first gear, I think I tops out like 50 miles an hour. Whereas on a 600, you're in the 75 to 90 mile an hour range, depending on the bike. And on a liter bike, you're 100 plus in first gear. So definitely not that. But that just goes to show you this bike is geared. I mean, it's no slouch. It's a 698cc motor, but it's just geared for that down low. So it's just a lot of fun on the street, and it is still fun on the freeway. Like I just twist up the wrist in 6th gear, and I'm from 70 to 87 in a matter of, I don't know, 5 seconds or so. So definitely a lot of fun to be had in all places, including, like I said, the track if I wanted to. So the fourth reason I bought this bike was looks. So I know it's not everyone's cup of tea. No bike is everyone's cup of tea. If it was, then they'd only sell one type of bike, right? They definitely sell more than one type of bike. And for this point in my life, and right now, this is it for me. Like, I love the look of this bike. It's not for everyone. If you saw my walk around video and when I talk about what I've done to it, I have got comments that it looks like a tarantula hawk or like a wasp or something like that. And I do think it looks like that. And for me, that's amazing. For you, you might be like, I don't want my bike to look like an insect. And you know what? That's perfectly respectable. I don't want my bike to look like I am 21 years old and a professional racer. So a super sport is not for me. I don't want my bike to look like I'm late to a casting call for Orange County Choppers. You know, that's not my cup of tea. That show really dates how old I am, because that show is old. But anyways, there's different strokes for different folks. For me, this was it. I really do like the look of super sports, but they also do look very, very uncomfortable. And I want to ride for pleasure. I want to be able to go on an hour plus or hours plus long ride without wondering what my gooch is going to feel like afterwards, without having to spend $300 on the comfort seat, which I might still do. Who knows? But I don't want to have to do that in order to have that experience. Also, to be like hunched over and arms like down, like it's just, it's not for me right now. I love the look of those bikes, but also practicality. So tried to find something that I liked the look of it, but also was practical and fitting of my lifestyle and what I wanted out of my motorcycling experience. So that was the fourth reason. And the fifth and final reason is, dudes, this is a Yamaha MT-07. Like, if you know anything about motorcycles, what else do you need to know? Like, everyone knows who rides a motorcycle that this bike does that. And like, it's just so torquey. You can have so much fun. And if I knew more about about it. I could have done a wheelie right there and it would have been easy, I'm sure, and lots of fun. But this bike is reliable. This bike completely revitalized the class that it's in. And there are other people who are trying to make bikes like it. There are other people who have made bikes or tried to make bikes like it, and they're just not as popular as the MT-07. This has been a cash cow for Yamaha, and the reason why is because they did it right. And they're actually, in a way, they're kind of revitalizing, they're revamping their entire lineup based off of the movement that this bike started. Like, it's so cool to see, and it's just often replicated, never duplicated type thing, but also just there's nothing that can go wrong with this bike that I would not be equipped to handle because parts are available for it and everywhere. Instructions and tips and tricks and all of that stuff is easily available. Um, so there's just nothing that could really happen that I wouldn't expect or be prepared for, and it just dominates the class. Like, if you're going to get a naked bike, this is the naked bike to get. I mean, you could make arguments for an MT-09 and an MT-10, but if you want a leader bike, just get an R1. I mean, if you want that kind of power and this position, I guess. But I feel like there's better bikes than that too. Like, I feel like the MT-10 is kind of like what other manufacturers have done with the MT-07, and they've taken its success and try to rip it off. Like, Yamaha is trying to rip off Yamaha with the MT-09 and the MT-10. Those motors, although badass, undeniably, they just don't hit the same as this. Like, this is just so great in so many different ways. And I know Harley bros like that are Harley bros only that say like that's a nice ass bike, man. Like, that's a good looking bike. And part of the reason why is it's all black and silver. My colorway is anyway. Not all of them are, but that's the one that I chose. I was so close to waiting for the cyan, but I was like, do I really want that much attention? Nah, I don't. We'll skip the Tron look. But yeah, that was why I bought my MT-07. I hope that this helps somebody. If you're on the fence about whether or not it's worth the extra money, I can tell you for sure that, in my opinion, it is. I didn't buy all those other beginner bikes or beginner plus bikes, but I can tell you that of all the bikes I've ridden in my life, dirt bike or otherwise, this one is for sure the most fun. Like, I've ridden Gixxer 750s back when those were a thing, and that bike was like scary fun, like juggling knives that are on fire and covered in cyanide fun. Like, yeah, everything's great until something goes terribly wrong, and that bike was just really scary. And super sports for me, probably fun for a day, but then you want to give it back. You know, this is the kind of fun that I want to have long term. It's just a hoot. So I think that it's worth the extra money. If you're thinking about getting it, get it. If you don't think you're a beginner plus, then don't get it. Like, don't even think about it, honestly. Just get a beginner bike and work your way up, or a dual sport, spend some time off road, or have some fun that way. But if you don't know anything about bicycles or dirt bikes or motorcycles, then it's just not worth it to take the risk. I've definitely had a few moments where I almost ate poop on this bike but didn't, and as that plus in the beginner plus that kind of bailed me out a little bit. So that's what I think. If you're a beginner plus, or if you've had other bikes and you're looking to go to something that's a little bit more practical, that like quote unquote downgrade, or here I can actually do it, downgrade, or something just more practical, this is an excellent bike, and I would highly recommend it to almost anyone. So that's the video. I'm about to pull up to this Taco Bell, and then we will end it. And as promised, some information about the giveaway. So I don't want it to be something specific to motorcycle riders. So I want it to be an approachable, like accessible prize. Like, we'll see what it's going to be.
TH here. I cut off the audio again. I have no idea how I keep doing this, but I swear to God, when I figure out this content creation and not being an idiot thing, I'm gonna be a force to be reckoned with. I don't know why. I did not know that the sleep wake button on an iPhone ends an audio recording if you have one playing. I don't know why I hit the sleep wake button on my phone either, but I did. So, so yeah, now this is what happened. You get to see me ride silently. Well, not silently anymore because I'm talking over it, but I needed to do something to fill the space um, until I can actually talk to you about the giveaway. Now I'm resyncing the audio and all of that fun, stupid behind the scenes stuff. Oh, it looks like I'm almost ready. I'll shut up now. Okay, enjoy the rest of the video. Bye.
All right, sorry about that. I somehow ended my audio recording, and here we are back at Taco Bell again to wrap things up. But like I said, I don't want it to be something specific to motorcycling. I want to attract a wider audience to this giveaway than that. But we do need more subscribers, and we do need more comments. So it'll probably be something about once we get to a certain number of subscribers. So if you want to see the giveaway happen, then I need you to subscribe to my channel and get in on that. So we'll figure out the logistics behind that, but it will be coming soon. So to make sure you don't miss it, subscribe to the channel now, and then you won't have to worry about it later. But for now, I am signing off. So peace. Take care of yourselves. I'll talk to you soon.